Well, I have about 100 unread books that I've promised myself that I'll read before I buy any more. Well, I have already bought 3 in the past week, so yeah, I haven't cured my addiction, but I thought that I might do some book reviews on the books that I have like anything to say about. So hopefully they're not complete bullshit, and hopefully they don't spoil them if you decide to read them. I mean, you should definitely read all of the books I mention here because they're just really good. Apart from one of them I'm not too keen on. I mean, it's good, but it's not like that good. But I think I'll get on with it now. So, oh yeah, hang on. Just to give you an idea of how long this video is going to be, there's 6 books I'm going to talk about. I mean, I haven't written that much about each of them. Yeah, I've written stuff down just so I don't stumble over what I'm going to say, because my thoughts kind of all tangled up in my head and I needed to unravel them before trying to make any sense of them. Right, so the first book is Book of Disquiet, and this edition isn't the longest edition. The Penguin one is about double the length, so I've missed probably, a lot, but I guess it's good enough. So it's going to be really hard for me to read these without cringing. So I've written that Pessoa brings kind of eloquence to the monotony of living. So some people might say this book is depressing, but I don't think it is. Like, even though he describes his life with boredom, he has a kind of love for it. It's strange, like, he does complain about it essentially, but he does it in such a beautiful way that it doesn't make you feel at all depressed about how boring and tedious life is. Tedium is one of his favourite words. I mean, I could open a page at random and probably find tedium there somewhere. I mean, like, it's not an annoying overuse. It's less noticeable towards the end, I think. Anyway, yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it's definitely one of my favourite books at the moment. I mean, that always changes, but yeah, it's gonna stay there, I think. And I want to read it again at some point, because I'll probably get more from it another time. Okay, next book, Trial. I've just written here, it's not so much to do with bureaucracy as alienation and kind of lack of agency. Because he's not in control. I think that's the main problem here. And Kafka himself, I read this book, Solitude, by Anthony Storr, and he mentioned Kafka, and apparently it wasn't until his 20s that he could bear his body. He didn't go swimming because he couldn't stand himself. And Storr suggested that he had some kind of schizoid personality, and I think that's what he's writing about here, rather than commenting on any kind of bureaucratic society. And it kind of reads as if it's a dream. My dreams are pretty strange, and I definitely had the feeling while reading this that it was a dream. I mean, yeah, it's definitely really good. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it that much, but it's a good read and it's pretty short. So if you don't like it, then you wouldn't have wasted much time. Okay, next one, Nausea. Now, this one I was kind of apathetic about. I think what he's trying to say has been said better in different books. Anyway, one thing I kind of... yeah, it's a theme, is that the kind of things that people are dedicating their life to end up being a dead end and pointless anyway. But I don't really agree with that anyway. Like, if you're enjoying doing something, it doesn't matter if it's pointless as long as you're enjoying it, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I did find this book quite depressing, which is probably what he intended. But I read it after the book of Disquiet, and it didn't really match the standard, in my opinion. Anyway, that's that. Okay, next one, Blindness. Now, I think this won the Nobel Prize, or at least the author did. Yep. Now, this is quite an interesting book. It's written in a different way to what you might be used. So, it doesn't really have much punctuation aside from commas and full stops, and there are a lot of commas. But you figure out what's going on. You get used to it, and then it's not a task to read it at all. And I think he was trying to emulate Blindness in doing that. You have to kind of fumble around for a bit until you get the hang of it, and then it's, fluid going from there. Okay, and I think, I'm not sure, but I think kind of the main message was that we need teamwork in order for our everyday lives, to be as they are. Because if everyone's blind, then there's no one working at power plants, so there's no electricity, no one working at reservoirs or anything, so no drinking water. So it shows how much we rely on each other. So yeah, it's about this contagion of blindness, like a disease. And everyone ends up working with a group of other blind people. There is a bit of kind of every man for themselves in the supermarkets when they're trying to get food. But I think the message overall is that, you need to work together. And when they're in quarantine, there's about 300 of them there, and there are about 10. One of them has a gun, so they decide to take their food and make the rest of the blind people, sorry, that was my phone, the rest of the blind people pay for it with their possessions and then with their women. And some people might say, oh look, that's human nature. That means that humans are meant to be selfish. But actually, no, that's just 10 people out of the 300 who were there. And I think that's kind of realistic depiction of real life. Anyway, that's pretty much what I have to say on that. Oh yeah, another thing. No one has a name. No one's referred to by their name, they're just referred to maybe by their appearance, even though everyone's blind. or by their profession or something like that, or any distinguishing feature. So it's interesting. No one refers to each other by their name, no one learns each other's names, so they get on fine. And another thing I would say is that even though they have a group, they all feel kind of alienated because they don't know what each other looks like, they don't really know their histories. They kind of feel apart from their surroundings. I don't know if that was really coherent, but there we go. Right, next one. Junkie. Well, this one, it's pretty obvious what this is about. It's about heroin, and it's not autobiographical, but it is kind of. Yeah, it doesn't focus on anything other than heroin. I mean, this is probably just because he was writing about heroin and didn't really intend to include anything else. But it does also give you the impression that nothing much matters in a heroin addict's life than heroin. And you also notice that his friends seem to change rather frequently. As in, you don't really have a close bond with anyone. I mean, there are the odd few, I suppose. Maybe I'm just clutching at straws here. It's probably not a real point. Okay. Oh yeah, one thing I did notice was that his wife and children get mentioned when he's arrested, and I didn't notice them being mentioned before that. And I was like, huh? He doesn't have a wife and children. Apparently he did. And they hadn't been mentioned as far as I know, unless I'm just really bad at reading. And after that, they were only occasionally mentioned. You never really learnt anything about them. So they almost seemed a kind of accessory or just arbitrary as part of someone's life, you know. Yeah, he only mentioned his children once. So it seems that the ordinary things that are important to people are not necessarily important when you've got something else kind of controlling your life. And yeah, it's interesting how powerless people feel. Like, they'll try to quit, but maybe they'll have more than they intended, and they say, oh, it's just a one-off, but it's not a one-off. And they're lying to themselves, and they know it, but they can't stop it. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I recommend it. Especially if you want to know what it's like to be a heroin addict. So yeah, it's good. Pretty short. Okay, the final one is Atomized. Now, first of all, people have criticised this for being misogynistic, and honestly, if they think that, then they must have been reading with their eyes closed, because they've totally missed the point. I don't really think there's anything that could be construed as such. And you've got to think that one of the main characters is male, and he's not exactly depicted very nicely or very sympathetically. So, yeah, if you think it's misogynistic, then read it again, and this time use your brain. Anyway, this is one of my favourite books at the moment. Like, once I'd read it, I didn't really know what to read, because I just wanted to read more Houellebecq. I just love how many ideas are in the book, and the way it's written as well. It's written in quite unusual style. And, well, for example, when the grandma dies, you learn about that because he starts writing about the process of decomposition and like the flies involved. And once you've learned all about decomposition, then he tells you there's a funeral. I quite like that. And the main idea, I suppose, is, well, there's a clue in the title, Atomized. People are feeling alienated. A lot of it's to do with a kind of sexual liberation movement. Houellebecq thinks that it kind of fetishized the young and alienated the old and ugly. And it's not just to do with that, like, he doesn't seem to like individualism, and yeah, he basically wants people to be more coherent, and most of the main characters, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but they commit suicide because they feel worthless, basically. And oh yeah, at the end, you know, it's just so good. Like, I can't tell you the ending because it would probably spoil it. You probably already would know, reading it, that that was going to happen because, you know, it's pretty obvious. But yeah, just read it. Just read it. Make your own opinion of it. Because I'm really bad at formulating my thoughts in some form that makes sense to other people. So yeah, just fucking read it. Please. It's so good. And I'm going to read all of his other books once I've read the 100 or so that I need to read. But I just want to read him, you know? Okay, I think that's quite enough talking for now. I'll probably be back. I mean, if anyone watches this, I suppose. If anyone likes it. You know, actually, I'm gonna do more videos anyway, because I'm gonna be reading a lot of books, so I might as well tell people what I think of them, if anyone cares. Bye.